Welcome to the podcast. If you'd like to listen to an ad-free version of this episode and all of our episodes, then search True Crime Today Premium Plus on Apple Podcasts and press subscribe. That's our premium channel where all of our ad-free and advanced episodes live, all in one place. True Crime Today Premium Plus. Search it on Apple Podcasts and press subscribe. Even try it for 3 days free.
You're about to take a deep dive into one of the biggest true crime cases in the universe. Or, at least, on our part of the planet. From the Hidden Killers podcast and True Crime Today.
Okay, so today we're really going to get into these Diddy allegations.
Yeah.
This is big. We're talking over 100 accusers.
Over 100.
Represented by, and this name carries weight, Tony Buzbee.
Yeah, he's a huge deal. You know, he's not one to just kind of chase ambulances.
Right.
He's not looking for, easy cases. He's built his whole career on taking on, major corporations, powerful people.
Right.
And he's gotten, serious results. Settlements, big settlements for his clients.
This is not some flash in the pan. This is not some rando lawyer looking to
yeah, definitely not.
To make a name for himself.
He's already got the name.
And it's interesting to me too, because Buzbee's even saying this goes beyond Diddy. He's saying there are all these other powerful people and enablers involved.
Yeah, and that's a thing, right? If what he's saying is true and these allegations go back all the way to 1991, this isn't just a recent thing.
Right.
This suggests a deeper pattern, a system almost.
Okay, so paint the picture for us here. What's the timeline? What are we looking at?
So yeah, you've got allegations stretching back to the early 90s, and then they keep popping up over the years.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of them centered around those those infamous Diddy White parties.
Right.
Hotels, other venues. It's there's a pattern there.
And to be clear here, we are talking about some really serious allegations. Yeah. Sexual assault, even drugging.
Yeah, and some of the accusers, they're alleging they were given this substance, and this is where it gets really chilling. They say it was a horse tranquilizer.
A horse tranquilizer.
Yeah, which is just, think about it, the potential for incapacitation there. And then you add in the whole power dynamic. Diddy,
it's scary.
Yeah, it scares.
And what's I think even more disturbing is Buzbee's representing 25 people who say they were underage when this allegedly happened.
Underage, yeah.
That just adds a whole other layer to this.
Absolutely. That's huge. Allegations like that, especially involving minors, legally, for Diddy, the stakes just got way higher.
Right. And it's important to remember Diddy's already got this other legal battle going on, right? Yeah. The racketeering charges, sex trafficking.
Oh, yeah, no, that's right. That's a whole other thing. These new allegations, this could seriously impact that case.
Right.
Prosecutors, they might see this, and it just reinforces a pattern of behavior for them. It might give them more ammunition.
So how's Diddy responding to all of this?
Yeah.
What's he saying?
Well, his lawyers, they put out a statement, and basically it's a full denial.
Okay.
They're calling the accusations false, defamatory, saying, he's going to fight this.
Okay.
They're basically painting this picture of, people just trying to take advantage of him to get money.
Right. Okay, so a denial, but also it sounds like they're ready to go to court.
Mm-hmm.
But even if Diddy's found innocent legally, can he really escape this? The court of public opinion, that's a whole different beast.
Yeah, and these days with social media, it's like wildfire.
Exactly.
Things spread so fast, and it's hard to control the narrative.
So you've got these allegations, this lawyer with a reputation for winning these kinds of cases, and Diddy's team basically saying, "Bring it on. What's next? What are we looking at here?"
Well, Buzbee's got to make his next move, right?
Hey,
He said lawsuits are coming. So once those are filed, we'll see what the specific allegations are, what evidence they've got, and probably most importantly, who these other powerful people are that he keeps mentioning.
Because that's what everyone wants to know, right? Who else is involved?
Exactly. And depending on who those names are, this could get way bigger than just Diddy. We could be talking about a scandal that rocks the whole music industry.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're talking about potential fallout here.
Mm-hmm.
But before we get ahead of ourselves, let's talk specifics. What kind of legal ramifications are we looking at for Diddy?
Mm-hmm.
If these accusations are true, what what could happen?
Well, I mean, obviously his reputation's on the line, but legally we're talking about multiple accusations of sexual assaults, some maybe involving drugging, and then you've got the underage aspect. These are serious crimes.
No.
Yeah, we're not talking about like a slap on the wrist here.
No.
If even like a fraction of these charges stick,
Right.
Diddy could be facing, I mean, serious prison time. We're talking years, maybe even decades. And that's not even mentioning the civil lawsuits.
Right, because on top of the criminal justice system, you've got, like you said before, the court of public opinion.
Yeah, and those two, they don't always agree.
No, they don't.
Like, even if a jury finds him not guilty,
Right.
he's still going to face the consequences, financially, his reputation, all of that.
And it's not just him, right? If Buzbee's right about this whole network, this could, like, ripple through the entire industry.
Oh, absolutely. This has the potential to, like, blow the lid off this whole culture of complicity.
Yeah.
Imagine if those powerful people are actually named. You could see careers ending, companies boycotted. I mean, it could completely change how the music industry operates.
Wow.
Yeah.
It makes you wonder how we even got here. Like, has the industry just been ignoring this kind of behavior for years?
Well, it's a systemic issue, right? It's not just music. It's like whatever you have this much power, this much money, this much influence, all concentrated in the hands of a few. It creates this environment it's just ripe for exploitation.
It's like that fame and fortune just become a shield to protect them from any kind of consequence.
Yeah, in some cases, yeah. And the people who are most vulnerable, it's often the ones with the least amount of power.
Right.
Like young artists trying to make it, they might feel like they can't speak up because it'll ruin their careers.
And that's what makes this whole thing with Buzbee and these like over 100 accusers, that's what makes it feel different.
It does, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, the sheer number of accusers, the fact they're all willing to come forward together like this, and then you add in Buzbee's reputation for, actually taking on these powerful people, it changes things.
It really does. It feels like a turning point, maybe.
Possibly. This could give other victims the courage to come forward, Not just in music, but in any industry where this kind of power dynamic exists.
That's true. We've been talking about the legal battles, the fallout for the industry, but, we can't forget about the human side of all this.
Right. It's easy to get lost in the legal drama and the speculation, but at the heart of this are real people whose lives have been impacted.
Exactly. Behind every single one of these allegations is a person, someone who may have been hurt and who's now showing incredible bravery by coming forward.
Absolutely. And those voices, they deserve to be heard.
Yes.
Their stories need to be taken seriously. This whole situation, it should be a wake-up call that we can't tolerate abuse of any kind.
No.
And that staying silent, it only helps the abusers. It lets this behavior continue.
It does. It perpetuates them.
Yeah. It's on all of us to create a culture where victims feel safe coming forward, where their stories are heard and believed and where justice is actually served.
It really feels like we're at a crossroads here.
Yeah, we are. And the path we choose as individuals, as a society, it's going to have huge consequences. So where do we go from here? What's the next chapter in this whole story?
Yeah, what happens now?
Well, like we said, those lawsuits being filed, that's going to be huge.
Yeah.
That'll give us so much more information, the specifics of the allegations, the evidence, and the scope of this whole thing.
Right.
And of course, potentially the names of these other powerful people that Buzbee's been hinting at.
Yeah, because that's the big question, right?
Huge. And depending on who those names are, this thing could explode, go way beyond music, even Hollywood, the business world. I mean, who knows?
It's like we're talking about a potential earthquake in the world of power and influence.
Potentially, yeah. But beyond all the scandal and the speculation, I think this is a real chance for change.
Okay, so let's talk about that change.
Yeah.
What needs to happen to make sure something like this never happens again?
Yeah.
What can our listeners do?
Okay, so we talked about the systemic issues, about creating a culture where survivors feel safe coming forward. But realistically, I mean, how do we actually dismantle a system that seems to protect the people in power? What can we actually do?
Yeah, it's complicated for sure, but I think it starts with real accountability.
Okay.
We've had this culture for too long of just kind of sweeping things under the rug, especially when it involves people with power, money, fame. We get to see consequences. Yeah, and not just a public apology or stepping back from a project for a little bit, real consequences.
Right, exactly. Legal action, obviously. But then industry-wide standards and practices that actually put safety and accountability first.
Okay.
Things like, stricter codes of conduct, having ways to report misconduct that are actually independent, and then real support systems for survivors, but within the industry itself.
So it's like creating an environment where if you come forward, you're not going to be blacklisted. You're not going to be ostracized. You're actually going to be heard, and people are going to be there for you.
Exactly. And that takes a real shift in how we think about this stuff. It's not about, protecting someone's image or protecting the bottom line. It's got to be about people's safety and well-being coming first.
It's a big change, but it feels like, it's got to happen.
It does. And it's not just about protecting people. It's about the music we love, the industry itself, maintaining some kind of integrity.
Right. Because if we keep supporting music, if we keep supporting an industry that tolerates this, enables it, aren't we part of the problem then?
It's a question we all have to ask ourselves, especially now.
Yeah.
And it's not easy, but it's important.
We've covered so much ground here today, the allegations, the legal stuff, the systemic problems. But I want to bring it back to everyone listening. What does this mean for you? How you listen to music, how you, engage with entertainment.
Right. It's about your values now. Knowing what we know, can you separate the art from the artist? Can you still enjoy the music while understanding the potential harm that's been done?
And this goes way beyond Diddy, right? This is bigger than one person. This is about this behavior that can happen anywhere in any industry.
Absolutely. It makes you think about, who am I supporting?
Right.
With my time, with my money, just by paying attention. And there aren't easy answers, but those questions, they're important to think about.
It's about being informed.
Yeah.
Knowing what's going on and then making choices about the kind of world we want to live in.
I think that's a good place to leave it for now. It's not about canceling anyone or condemning anyone. It's about, like you said, awareness, holding people accountable, and doing something, expecting better from ourselves, the artists we listen to, and the whole system, This
has been a lot to take in today, but sometimes the truth is tough, And we're going to keep following this story as it develops. We'll keep you all updated. But for now, think about this. What stays with you after today? What really resonated? And how are you going to move forward with what you know now?
Knowledge without action doesn't really get us anywhere. It's up to all of us to take what we learn and create change.
That's all the time we have for today's deep dive. Thanks for joining us, and until next time, stay curious, stay informed, and stay engaged.
In a world where the darkest secrets lie just beneath the surface,
They said it was an accident, but the evidence says otherwise.
where hidden killers roam unnoticed in the shadows.
I think you would definitely be looking at a blend of toxic, very bad narcissistic personality traits, and they will be vengeful and possibly resort to violence.
Join Tony Buzbee as he uncovers the truth behind the most chilling cases.
They said it was an accident, but the evidence clearly says otherwise.
Each episode, we dig deep into the minds of those who commit the unthinkable.
To your point on narcissism, he thinks in his own mind how witty he is.
Yeah.
But he lost that jury. I was done with him in 2 minutes.
From unsolved mysteries to infamous crimes.
Geez, you've just talked about how you've taught yourself how to do everything under the sun. I bet you did a YouTube video, how to best kill somebody with a knife.
Hidden Killers with Tony Buzbee takes you where few dare to go.
How does someone with such a dark secret go unnoticed for so long?
With multiple new episodes every single day.
We're not just telling stories, we're seeking justice.
Listen now on Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts. Just search for Hidden Killers with Tony Buzbee.